Do you know Piers Morgan? You're familiar with
Yeah.
Piers Morgan, of
Yeah.
course. Tom Aspinall was on the Piers Morgan
I just
show.
saw that. Yeah. Well, I saw that he was on that. I didn't get to see much about it, but I saw that.
Yeah, no, but that's great. I mean, it just goes to show, how big MMA is getting, because, Piers' show is big and he gets massive numbers as well. He was on there. Obviously, we all know already. Dana White confirmed it Saturday night, and it's kind of been confirmed for a while now. Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones will go down some point in 2025. I'd say International Fight Week.
Yeah.
What were the big takeaways, Harrington, from his appearance with Piers Morgan, other than guaranteeing the fight? He said that Jon is going to get FU money. And Piers said, are you going to get FU money? And he said, no. He'll get paid handsomely. I'm sure it'll be life-changing money for where Tom and I and, working class people are from. But he just wants the belt. Because once he gets the belt, then that's his pathway to making life-changing money. But Harrington.
I mean, my biggest takeaway from it, the headline grabber, according to backdoor meetings with Dana White, Dana says this is going to be the biggest fight in UFC history. So
I agree.
Now, since Tom is the interim, but he's not the champion, I guess, do you think they'll give him any cut of the pay-per-view for that?
100%.
Because that's big enough, right? Even if his contract stays the same for his money, you want that fight with Jon because of that reason right there, that it could be the biggest fight in UFC history. And that alone will get you everything that you need to go with it. And then obviously if you beat Jon, the sky is the limit from there. I mean, then you're making crazy pay-per-view money.
Yeah, no, of course. And I would assume that once you become the interim champ, you automatically get the standard cut of the pay-per-view points. Obviously the biggest pay-per-view they've ever done is Khabib versus Conor. What was that? Something like 2.6 million, something like that. Now, of course, Conor McGregor, once in a generation type of star. We had Khabib on the other side, undefeated and all the rest of it. Obviously, a huge Muslim following, Russian following. Then we had Conor throwing the dolly at the bus. So all that promotional material. Were you there?
I was there. Dude, I was on the other bus watching him running around with his guys throwing it. I want to hear what the fuck is going on? Because we're in the tunnel at where were we getting ready?
Barclays Center.
And I'm supposed to be fighting Ally Quinta that weekend. And that was the weekend that Conor threw the dolly through the bus. People got glass in their faces.
And did Ally Quinta end up fighting Khabib?
Yeah. But if you remember, if you go way back, I was the only one that weekend who happened to weigh 155 pounds. Al weighed 156 pounds. And I was in talks with the UFC to try to get that fight with Khabib. So for hours, I thought, holy shit, I went from fighting Ally Quinta as like the first fight of the pay-per-view to potentially be fighting Khabib for the lightweight belt. And I'm trying my absolute best. I got my management on it. We're like, come on. I made the weight. The commission takes me out of it saying I'm not ranked high enough. I was
the bastards.
So then they take Quinta from me. So now I don't even have an opponent. I went from maybe fighting for the lightweight belt to having no opponent because of that dolly going through that window. But thank God, love the UFC. They paid me everything.
Of course. I can't believe we've never spoke about this. I'm glad it came up organically like that. Yeah, dude, there's a lot to unpack here. So you almost fought Khabib on extremely short notice.
And Khabib said it makes sense. And he said, listen, I'll let him fight me. That makes sense. He made weight. He was all about it.
But you weren't worthy. I
was not, according to the New York Athletic Commission, I was not worthy. And people online were giving them such crap. It's like, who are you? Even Rogan was giving them crap. Who are you to say that this guy who was supposed to be fighting on the main card, who's, been on the cusp of being in the top 10 for a while, you're going to tell me that I'm not ranked high enough because Al was a few spots above me. He was okay. Or was it because Al's a New York guy and you wanted your New York guy to be taken on that?
All I'm hearing is that the UFC was trying to protect Khabib.
Oh, go on, Brian. Brian and Harrington, they've always got the back of the co-host. Well
Come
done.
on,
But they would sanction Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Come on, man.
Dude. Paul Felder must be protected from Khabib, but we'll do Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. We've talked about that a lot. We won't get into it. Right. So you came this close. By the way, if Ally Quinton was 156, how did he end up fighting Khabib?
They did something where they were like, "Oh, he has to go. If he would have taken off his underwear and weighed in with nothing." Oh, they pulled some shady shenanigans there.
Whatever, they made it happen.
Bullshit, to be honest. But ultimately, I ended up having a really good night Saturday because I had quite a good bit of money in my pocket and didn't have to take one punch to do it. I made weight. I had already made weight when all of that happened. So
hold on, right. So we were talking about Conor and Khabib being the biggest pay-per-view, and Brian, just looking up, I think it was like 2.6 million, which is crazy. Talk me through that. You're on the bus, you're at the Barclays Center, and all of a sudden, Conor McGregor and all of his buddies show up out of their minds, and it's just all hell breaks loose.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. I was like, because I saw him banging on the window. He's doing it, and I'm like, "Who's it?" I was like, "That's Conor. That's Conor doing that. What the hell is going on?" And then I saw him pick up and we were like, "No, dude! Like, oh my god!" And then we heard the smash through the window, and I think we were there to do like a presser. I forget exactly what went on, but we were we trying to get off the bus. They were like, "You can't, you know how security is, just keeping everybody on there." I didn't know at first. We didn't know what was going on. Maybe it was like random people causing shit, doing like terrorist type shit. And then nope, just Conor doing terrorist type activities.
Conor and his boys from the council estate, all on a good one.
It was wild, man. And Anthony Pettis ended up, I think, getting off of that card too. So we ended up going to some Mexican restaurant, drinking tons of tequila that night.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
So the question is, obviously, Conor McGregor and Khabib, two of the biggest stars. Jon Jones, right? Again, he's that level. Tom Aspinall's had a crazy rise. Do we think, and Brian and Harrington, let's get your opinions as well. Do we think Jones versus Aspinall rivals McGregor versus Khabib? I mean, the fact that we're having this conversation is, it's great for everyone involved. But what do you reckon?
I think there's a chance because Jon Jones has been so undefeatable over the past 2 decades that Tom Aspinall has the best chance by far to be the guy. So I think a lot of people are going to tune in to see that.
And I'll piggyback on that real quick also. I think there is, because the way John played it with the media, that this fight was never going to happen, he kind of really created the appetite for it.
Yeah.
Look, pay-per-view buys is tough, right? Like it is going to be hard with pay-per-view buys. I think you can walk away from it saying it's the biggest fight of all time because it's the biggest gate of all time, and I think that's the path to making it the quote unquote biggest fight of all time. 2.4 million pay-per-view buys that's such a crazy brass ring to grab for. Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall in this day and age, when it's just that easy on your phone, to break 1 million pay-per-view buys would be astronomical, I think. No?
Well, you're absolutely right, because I don't think people understand, right? These kind of numbers that you're talking about there, millions of pay-per-view buys. We see all these promotions go out there. I mean, what was that? The PFL, was it Ngannou and Ferreira? I think they did like 35 or 60,000 pay-per-view buys.
They would be so happy with 60,000 pay-per-views, Mike.
What was it?
What did they get?
Like 12, 15.
Wow.
All right, today's episode is sponsored by Unbound Merino, which specializes in all kinds of clothing made from merino wool, which is moisture wicking, temperature regulating, and extra comfortable for all sorts of travelers. Let me tell you, all new customers will get 15% off with the code BELIEVE when you go to the website unboundmerino.com. As I say, Unbound Merino offer timeless, versatile clothing that will have you looking good and feeling great in any situation, whatever it is that you need. By the way, the socks, they are a game changer, but they've got t-shirts, they've got chinos, they've got sweaters, they've got all the basics that a man or a woman is going to need when they are on the road. And one of the big benefits of merino wool is how much easier it is for packing, because look, listen, merino wool has a naturally odor resistant quality to it, so you can wear them multiple times. Okay, so you don't have to pack as much stuff. So as I say, head over to unboundmerino.com, where new customers, when they use the code BELIEVE, they will get 15% off